What's the scariest thing you have seen based on all the data that you have seen?
No such, I wouldn't say really the scariest thing.
Or something like the shocking data you found out was like, oh, ye pattern to I could have never been able to understand if I was not the head of Metropolis.
I mean, for example, we've seen polycystic ovaries at a crazy number in India, right? PCOS is very, very high as a percentage of women in India. Right now, that is something I would have been. It's just like, why such an abnormal percentage, right? So it's very, very high in India. But we're also seeing, obviously, a fair amount of infertility in India now, right? And again, what people may not be correlating is it's combination of many things, right? I mean, we have far more radiation from electronics in our lives. We are keeping our phone on all parts of our bodies. Yeah. We are using it next to our ears all the time. From Bluetooth, there's constant some sort of a radiation coming out. All of that is causing some of the damage, right? Also, there's much more smoking, there's more drinking. Again, the same thing. You're not keeping your body that healthy. So therefore, you are also bound to see other effects of that. So as people decide to parent older in life, and I'm a late parent, right? So I have no bias there. But as you decide to parent later in life, you still have to make sure that your body is healthy enough to absorb that choice, right? Like I had my first child when I was 40, and I had my second child at 44, right? Or my two children at 44. I had twins just 7 months ago. But something which I did, which is very interesting, and I want to share that. It's been very private. I haven't shared it generally, but I think good for people to know that, the age for women when the fertility starts going down has traditionally been known to be 35 globally. And what happens is that till 35, you're reasonably okay. I mean, it's dropping. But at the 35, it's a very grave fall where fertility goes down. Now, those numbers of 35 are also known to be decreasing now because your lifestyle has changed. From a younger age, you're drinking, younger age, you're smoking, younger age, you're doing bunch of things. You're harming your body more, right? So your fertility levels cannot stay stagnant. So you're also using, like I said, phones, electronics, etc. So that number is falling. We don't have a number yet. But at the same time, so in my case, at 32, I said, okay, let me do a fertility test. And at the age of 32, I realized my fertility is very low. So what do? Now, I was not ready to have a kid then. I wasn't married. I wasn't ready to have a child. So I said, mujhe kya karna chahiye? So first I was, quite suffocated by the idea of it. And I never grew up thinking, Arey yaar, I'm dying to have kids. I was not that person. I was not like a 22 dreaming of children. I wasn't. But I still wanted the option in life. I wanted to say that, look, if tomorrow I meet somebody who I want to be with, I want to have the option to have children. Whether I choose to or not is a different story. Fair. So I actually went about and I researched and I found out that there is an ability to egg freeze. There is an ability to freeze embryos, right? Embryo is when you take the sperm and the egg and fuse them together. And egg is just when you're doing your own eggs, right? So you won't believe it. I was dating my boyfriend then, who's now my husband, for 6 months. Okay. Just 6 months. And I told him this story and I said, look, this is the case and I'm thinking of doing egg freezing. And he said, okay, great, you should do it. Fully support you. What do you need from me? Then after a month, I told him, actually my mom is telling me I should do embryo freezing because at that time, egg freezing was not so stable, which is much better now. Science has progressed a lot. So she's suggesting, why don't we think about freezing our embryos? So he was quiet for a minute and then he immediately said, yeah, let's do it, right? Just 6 months into dating, right? It was a big plunge. A big leap.
The conversation just escalated pretty quickly.
Right? And you won't believe it. We went through 3 IVF cycles together. We froze embryos. And that decision was the single decision why I have 3 children now. Because if at the age of 40, I went to decide to get pregnant, I can tell you 100% I would not have because my fertility was not so great even at 32. And look, there's nothing like you have to take this time out of your life. Just for you to know, the first time I did my first IVF cycle, in 2012 and 13, I was running my business full time. I was traveling all over the place. I was doing all the things I needed to do.
Your day-to-day life.
It's not like your day-to-day life gets affected. It's not like I have to say I have to take a break for 2.5 months and do only this. कुछ नहीं है ऐसे. 1 घंटे आप जाओगे, आप इंजेक्शन लोगे, आप स्कैन करोगे, ब्लड टेस्ट करोगे, भागो. Go do your life. Even when I was implanting to, have the babies and first baby in 2019, I took my company public at the same time.
Commendable.
Right?
That's commendable.
Right? So there's nothing we have to stop in our lives for it. It's just something like you will do something else. So your mother's not well, your father's not well. You'll take care of them while you're working, while you're doing your life. The same way.
Let me just tell you, I really appreciate that you shared this story. Thank you so much.
I hope it's helpful to people. And
it is. I'm sure somebody will find it like really, really inspiring and helpful at the same time. I really appreciate. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much ये क्लिप एंड तक देखने के लिए. अगर आपको और भी ऐसी क्लिप्स देखनी है तो राज शमानी क्लिप्स चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए.